What's up, everybody? It is me, 10, back at it with another video. Gosh, it's been a while, and do I have a doozy for y'all? I literally 5 minutes ago just finished watching the Mean Girls musical, and I'm doing a review of it because I have thoughts. Y'all, I actually wrote notes, y'all. I don't tend to write notes for my reviews, but because I really wanted to remember my thoughts and because I wanted to make sure I'm staying on a like having a format, I decided that I'm going to write notes. So I have my notes right here. And so Mean Girls. Mean Girls is a 2024 movie musical based on the 2004 teen comedy film Mean Girls, starring Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams and Tim Meadows, and y'all know the cast. If you've seen the movie, you know the cast. I don't need to list off everybody. Anyway, a lot of people in the movie. And if you haven't seen the movie, what? I need you to go out and watch the original Mean Girls from 2004. 20 years ago, 20 years later, 20 years ago, 20 years ago, the movie came out and it was a cultural phenomenon. Um, it's still memed, it's still quoted, um, it's still heralded as one of the best teen films to come out of the 2000s, one of the best um, comedy films to come out of the 2000s. And it's one of my all-time favorite films. Um, Once again, I'm one of those people who is constantly quoting it. Um, so I went into the movie as a big fan. I'm a big fan. So I went in with expectations, but I also went in knowing that it is a movie musical. I believe it was in the 2010s they introduced the musical to Mean Girls. And let's see when the musical came out. I did forget to find that out. Oh yeah, it was the 2010s, 2017 actually. So the musical came out in 2017. Um, and it is also based on a book called Queen Bees and Wannabes, which is by Rosalind Wiseman, and Tina Fey wrote the screenplay. Wrote the screenplay for the movie, and the musical was based on the screenplay and the book and all that. So it's it. I went into the movie knowing it was a musical, and I love musicals, so I know that some people just they despise musicals, so it takes them out of the movie. Well, I am not one of them. What the hell? Is that a bug? Not no bug in my drink. Is that a bug in my drink? Y'all hold on. It's not a bug. We're fine. Yeah, so some people despise musicals, and so it ruins the movie for them instantly. But I like musicals. With that being said, um, I'm a bit of a theater nerd, a bit of a musical head. Because of that, I'm a little harsher on movie musicals, especially musicals that are based on movies I like. So, like Heathers. I've heard some of the music from the Heathers musical, never really impressed me. I've heard music from some other movie musicals that have never really impressed me. But for the most part, I'm always open to hearing new songs and stuff. So, I want to kind of talk about a couple things. So, I'm going to start with the things I liked about the movie. Um, so I'm going to start there, and then we're going to start with the pros, all the things I liked about the film. Then we're going to go into the music, and I'm going to rate the music by what I really liked versus what was okay. And if it's not mentioned, I didn't care for it. And then I'm going to talk about the cons, and then wrap up with final thoughts. So this should be about 20-30 minutes. So gear up. Y'all know my reviews take a while, but I'm really trying to organize these instead of it just being me rambling. So, Mean Girls, the musical, 2024. The pros. So let's talk about some things I really liked about the film, and I'm gonna start with characters. There were characters that really stood out that I really liked, and of course, Damien and Janice were probably the best parts of the movie, aside from Karen, who's another one who I'm going to talk about. Damien and Janice, I thought, were very well casted. I like Ahohi Caravo. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I think she's very talented. I think she really embraced the character and embraced Janice. I think she played her in a way that was very much similar to how the original actress played her, but definitely in her own, with her own kind of flair and her own kind of thing. And I really, really like that. She wasn't just like, I'm gonna be exactly like Janice in every way. And I like that she put her own spin on it. Damien was hilarious. I had no um like what's the word I'm looking for? I was not surprised that I was gonna love Damien. I saw the actor and I saw the trailer and heard him talking and heard him and I was like, oh, I'm gonna love him. And I was right. I really loved the actor. He did a fantastic job. Once again, he really embraced the things about Damien that we loved, but he also played it his own way. And I really loved that. Um they were hilarious. You know, the two of them on screen, they had a lot of chemistry. Uh, it felt like they were had been friends for like 10 plus years. It really did. Um, Karen, wow. Everything that came out of Karen's mouth was literally comedy gold. The girl was funny. The girl was funny. She she played dumb, but she played dumb in a way that was like really smart. And it wasn't just her, like what she said, it was her physical comedy, the way she fixed her mouth and the way that she, at one point she even falls off a table and it's fucking hilarious. And it's the way she fixed her mouth, it's the way she stretched her eyes, and it's the way she like moved and walked her. Like she so oh my god, she did really good. She really embraced the character. Amanda Seyfried did a great job as Karen. She's iconic, but I gotta say that I think that this actress, her name is, I believe, Avantika really killed it. Avantika girl, she really embraced it. I liked Regina George. I think that Renee Rapp really did a good job at bringing Regina George to life. I will say that I think that Renee Rapp's version of Regina lacked a little bit of the charisma and like the because the thing about Regina was that she was mean, but she wasn't just outrightly like, or not, she wasn't always just outrightly cruel. You know, she was that like backhanded, like the a good example of Regina as a person is the oh my god, I love that bracelet, and then saying that's the ugliest fucking bracelet I've ever seen in my life. Like she wasn't like super um aggressively cruel until pushed. Well, I feel like Renee played her a little bit more aggressively cruel, which I honestly think um, is okay. But I think Rachel McAdams played her in a way that you're like, oh, you hate her, but you love to hate her, you know, versus you just kind of hated this Regina. Like she was charismatic, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it was still good. It was a good version of Renee Rapp, and of course, I got to give a big ups to Tim Meadows. I love that he came back for the movie musical. He's very very funny. He's very very funny, um, and he plays the character hilariously as Mr. Duval. Little change is that Miss Norbury and Mr. Duval in a relationship in this version, which I found very interesting. I also want to give a big ups to Kevin G. underutilized. Listen, Kevin G is one of my favorite people in the movie, and I thought the actor that they picked was really good, but he was so underutilized. They didn't involve him in the film as much as I think they could have. Um, and one of the funniest interactions that Kevin G has is the interaction with um, Janice. And Janice being canonically queer is awesome. I love that. Needed that in my life. And we're going to get back to that in a second. Because we're going to talk a little bit about the differences in the characters. But I would have loved to see some of those interactions. So, or even the interaction when they said that Katie had a crush on Kevin G. That shit was hilarious. That was such an hilarious scene. I just felt like they missed out on that. I love the homages to the original movie. So a lot of the homages were, of course, direct dialogue. So the word fetch. But the thing is, I really enjoyed was the fashion homages. Um, I wish they actually would have had more. And I wish they would have had that scene, that iconic scene of the four of them walking down um, the hallway. Why would they not put that scene in the movie? It's so good. It just seems like a missed opportunity, but we're going to talk about missed opportunities in a minute. Um, so like the outfit at the end that Regina wears, the top part is an homage to the outfit she wears at the end of the movie where she's um, doing the burn book stuff, and also the party outfit that Katie wore at her party, the Halloween outfit that Katie wore. Um, yeah, I love those. Um, some differences in the characters. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about the fact that some of the characters are played by people of color because I feel like it's not important. um, I feel like what made the characters great is not that they were white, is that they were memorable characters, and as the actors proved, um, the iconic character still translated, despite the little differences of like Janice Amiki, I believe is her last name, to uh, Imi Iki, to pay homage to uh, Aoi's um, Hawaiian heritage, or even uh, Karen, who is she's a very similar character, but they give her an Indian name, Shetty, which takes it doesn't take anything from the character. Bebe Wood, who plays Gretchen Wieners, she's Cuban, so they have a little homage to the fact that she's Cuban by mentioning she has abuelita. So it took nothing away from the characters, and it continues to confirm. People get all up in their feelings talking about, oh, these characters were white, they why can't they just be what they were? Because the characters in these fictional things, it's not about their race, y'all, unless the race is intricate to their identity. You know what I'm saying? But in this case of Mean Girls, it's not, as it was clearly proven. So boom. Okay, so let's talk about the music. So for the most part, the music was fine. I have some faves. I have some songs I'm like, ooh, I will be listening to this again because, ooh, good. So Meet the Plastics is really good. The I am Regina George, I'm a big deal. So good. My favorite song, one of my favorite songs, Sexy, Karen's song, was so freaking good. I love how she starts singing the song while she's like TikToking, and then does the whole number as she's getting dressed, and then moves on to the party. There's this great little dance break. And I love when people say dance break or let's dance, and then they just start dancing. And the dance is really cute. Like, she killed that shit. It was so good. Someone Gets Hurt. Wow, really, really like that song. Renee Rapp sang it beautifully, sang it beautifully. It was, oh God, it was so good. It was so good. I have nothing wrong with the song. I liked Revenge Party. It was very cute. Of course, Kevin G's rap, hilarious. They didn't change much from it. World Burn was very, very good. And I really enjoyed I'd Rather Be Me. That was sung by Janice. Really, really liked it. So those are my top favorite songs. Other songs that were just okay, like I may give another listen, but yeah, was A Cautionary Tale. Only reason I didn't put A Cautionary Tale up in my faves is because it's forgettable, even though I really liked the intro, that it was the intro song. Apex Predator was cute. What's Wrong with Me was very pretty. It was sung very pretty by Bebe Wood. Um, I didn't. It was it was good. It just I don't know. It was kind of somber, and I know it was meant to be somber. It just kind of it didn't fit with the rest of the rest of the songs. It felt like it should have been in a different movie. Um, and then the rest of the songs, if I'm not mentioning them, I didn't care for them. So those are all the things I liked about it. I also want to talk about the set design was really good. I really liked all the lighting and some of the other oh god, what's the word? Oh god, I say this word all the time when I'm talking about movies and now I can't remember. So I love the lighting and all of the sets and um the costume design was really cool. Um yeah, it was good. Um let's talk about what I didn't like about the film. And this is actually a shorter list than I thought it was going to be. Samuels. Y'all trying to convince me that that man is cute, that man y'all casted to play Aaron Samuel. Aaron Samuel was cute. I'm sorry, y'all. He's not doing it for me. Listen, Christopher Briney. Listen, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Hanny. Um, he's not my type. That don't mean that, you know, he's not my type. I don't think he didn't do it for me. Like Aaron Samuels just supposed to be like, ooh, that's a fine specimen. I did not feel that. Jonathan, the original actor, that's a fine man. Um, but I didn't feel it with him. I'm sorry. It's honestly, like if he was playing another character, but I expect my Aaron Samuels to make my heart skip, and he did not. He did not have the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, or talent to just make that role work. I'm sorry, Mr. Briney. I'm sure you're fabulous in other roles, but you just had big shoes to fill, honey. I'm sorry. You didn't do it for me. Katie. So I'm going to say some pros about Katie first. The actress is pretty. She has a very nice voice. Um, what she lacked was the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent that it takes to play this role. And once again, this is the same thing with Aaron Samuels. I just think she had big shoes to fill. Fucking Lindsay Lohan acted the house down boots in that fucking movie. She was so good in that movie. People joke around about like Miss Girl, Lindsay Lohan, but like point blank period, girl can act. Like the girl can turn a performance. Like she's a good actress. She's had a few bad performances, especially during when her career was going downhill. But before that, like, girl was serving it. She was giving it to us. She's got range. So don't sleep on Miss Lohan. But the girl just didn't have the range. It was just one note. Even when she turned into like mean girl Katie, it didn't connect with me. It didn't work for me. It didn't. She just didn't have the oomph, the chutzpah to really bring Katie to life, and she was just kind of boring to watch. So much was going on, and I was bored. You know, and once again, Miss, I believe her name is Anne and Jory Rice, Miss Rice, it's no fault of your own. I'm sure you a lovely white woman in other things, but I just think that she was ill. She was miscast. She was miscast. I'm sorry. She was miscast. I don't think she really embraced Katie, and that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. Yeah, she was not great. The pacing was really weird. I found the pacing to be very odd. The scene jumps to be very odd, almost like they cut a bunch, and maybe they did cut a bunch of shit, and that's why it seemed very odd. But I don't know. The pacing was weird. Um, my big issue, missed opportunities for comedy. So I want to start with this. One thing about Mean Girls, aside from the fact that it was iconic, was that it was genuinely funny. Like genuinely made you chuckle. There were good performances, funny performances from all of the actors, but especially, Tim Meadows, um, the actor who played Damien, a lot of good comedy coming from Rachel McAdams and all the other plastics, like Gretchen Wieners, also one of the funniest characters in the movie. And although I really liked the actress who played Gretchen, I think she did a fine job. To say she was funny, I wouldn't say that. Like everyone was really funny and they just missed so many opportunities for comedy. Like where was the funny? Like I wanted to laugh, y'all, and I just wasn't laughing. If freaking Karen wasn't on screen or Tim Meadows wasn't on screen or even Tina Fey wasn't on screen, and it's clear that there's supposed to be moments that are comedic and I'm just not laughing, you know? Like even like with Kevin G, like there were so many missed opportunities to utilize this character, a very funny character, so funny, so quotable. I don't leave if I didn't watch Mean Girls. If I'd never watched Mean Girls and I'm watching this and I hear these quotes, I wouldn't care. You know, it's not very quotable, with some of the new stuff. So lots of missed opportunities for comedy, really good comedy. Um, so that's my review, honey. It was a decent movie musical. It's not ever gonna reach a top 10 for me, but it was decent. I'm actually glad though. I did make a note here. I said glad I didn't waste my money watching it in theaters though, because I would have been big mad. I think I can enjoy it because I watched it here at home. Um, for basically free through my Paramount Plus account because I pay a fee and I get access to it instead of having to pay for it and go to the theaters. I would have been mad and would have been very disappointed if I spent $10 to go watch that. So that's something. Um, this is not, in my opinion, a rewatchable movie musical. I do want to hear some of these songs again, if anything. I will listen to the songs that I want to on my YouTube Red and call it a day. But this is not a rewatchable film. I do not think it is. I think if you watched it more than once, you'd just be annoyed. I was annoyed many times during some of the songs during the first watch. So, um, but it's certainly not the worst thing I've seen. And it's certainly not the worst movie musical I've seen. And it's certainly not the worst movie I've ever seen. So I'm going to give it a C. Mm, I did like quite a bit about it, but this is hard. I'm gonna give it a C plus. That's a cool 79, almost 80. Almost a B, almost a low B, because although I won't, a lot of the ways I rate movies is rewatch ability, and I don't want to rewatch it, probably ever. So that takes away points. Was I entertained? And I was. So I added a couple points for entertainment, and I don't know, y'all. I don't know. It was fine. It was a fine movie. I give it a C. I'm fine with that. If I had to give it a 1 to 5, I'd give it a 2.5, 2.9, 2.5 to 2.9. So still right under there. 1 to 10. I'd give it a solid 5.5. It was an okay movie. It was an okay movie. If you're a fan of Mean Girls and if you like musicals, give it a watch. But just don't go in with major expectations. And that's all I'm gonna say. All right, y'all. I'm cutting it. 25 minutes. We did it. We did it. Maybe I'm going to write my notes for every video now because this was much quicker because I was able to stay on task and I was able to format it. So I think we're going to be a note watching hoe from here on out. So thank you so much for watching. I'm not gonna make any promises about when I'm gonna make more content. I make content when I feel like it at this point. It used to be I was making content all the time, but the whole working, I'm in school. We'll see. All right. Bye. And remember, stay gay.